We have videos, we have audio. You're not going to sue anyone. If you sue me, everything comes out. And that's not a threat. That's just literally the truth. And you don't want that. Because the people that I'm talking to aren't lying. The court records aren't lying.
Well, wrong again, Katie Joy. Yeah, you were sued. And that came about on April 5th of 2022. Robert Shin sued you. Well, then on April 7th of 2022 came an amended complaint where they added Miranda Derrick and James Derrick to the lawsuit. Well, you wonder, why are we still here? 2 years later, this is still going on, and we're all just kind of sitting here with our hands up like, what? Where does this go from here? And that I really can't answer. I wish I could, but I can't. But Katie Joy certainly doesn't mind talking about it. And when she does, she always has to add this.
That's my opinion, Robert. Robert doesn't like people to have opinions.
It's a little late to be claiming opinions and stating allegedly, but now we know Katie Joy's view on opinions. And therefore, nobody should have a problem with me having opinions on her lawsuit. Now, should they? No, I don't think so. They're just my opinions. Now, all the filings in here are from the lawsuit. This is her lawsuit. These are the facts. But I might have a few opinions regarding this case and Katie Joy. So again, just my opinions. But Katie Joy is okay with opinions. So we shouldn't have an issue. All right, so let's look at exactly what Katie Joy is being sued for. And let's look at the whole process that has gone on for 2 years and still carrying on. Within this case, there are 9 counts. So let's look and see exactly what Katie Joy Paulson, a.k.a. Catherine Mansky Paulson of Without a Crystal Ball, is being sued for by 7M, Robert Shin, James Derrick, and Miranda Derrick. Count 1, defamation.
This is human trafficking. I'm shocked that he wasn't arrested. This is horrible.
Count 2, defamation per se.
I think every single one of these marriages is fake. The reason why I think the marriages are fake is because Miranda and B-Dash have provided different stories for their wedding.
Count 3, tortious interference of contract.
Really, the biggest controversy a lot of you have had is, well, we can't ruin their livelihoods. A former member told me they don't have livelihoods. All the money they're making is going to Robert and the church. That's the allegation. So you're not ruining their livelihood. You're actually like, it's about stopping the cult from making money.
Let me just pause here real quick, because what Katie is calling a cult, Robert Shin is calling a business. I don't know. Just thought I'd point that out.
And if you start squeezing off that revenue source, it forces them to have to divert and to change course. And if they don't have the money to sustain, to continue doing what they're doing, they can't continue to exploit these people.
Had to pause again, because these people that she's referring to are the dancers that are working with or for Robert Shin. So if you're getting rid of all these dancers, doesn't that take away income for Robert? Just asking. And I'm pointing this out in the perspective of the lawsuit, not because I am here under order of a cult, or that I support a cult, or that I'm a part of any cult. I'm just pointing it out because this is what the lawsuit is stating, and this is why she's being sued.
So if they're not making them money, they're not going to be valuable to him. And so there's a higher probability that he would let them go, or not even let them go, but they might not want to be there anymore because they're not making money anymore, because that's the promise he made to them.
And of course, anytime Katie Joy Paulson feels successful in something she's done, she will gloat about it, such as AT&T pulling a collaboration with a dancer, Spanx cutting ties with Miranda, and Keto Cycle terminating its partnership with Miranda. These things make her way too excited, y'all. Which then leads us into count 4, commercial defamation. Here is an actual exhibit within the lawsuit, which is one of Katie Joy's posts, where she is discussing how the Clippers are cutting ties with 7M.
So that's kind of the stuff that we need to get going, is that the brands need to know who they're involved with. They weren't told why the Clippers.
Is it just me, or does she seem confused or lost or, I don't know, possibly lying?
Canceled, but they assume that's why. And as far as like what they know and how much they know, they're kind of being kept away from a lot of this, so they don't know everything.
Count 5. Intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Why would it matter if she was with Slavic or James? The point is, she's with a man that she's not in love with, and James and Miranda's marriage was more than likely forced.
And you know this for a fact? Because you sure do state that as if it's a fact. Is this something you know for a fact? How would you even know this, Katie?
Because he's playing into stereotypes of black men by effectively using them to recruit women so that they end up looking like pimps.
Wow, you seem awfully sure about that too. Has he been convicted of this? Is there a record for this? Has he been arrested for this? Because you sure do make it seem like a fact. Oh, the answer to that is no. He's not been arrested nor convicted of these crimes that she's accusing him of, and it is actually 2 years later.
And it's disgusting to me because this is Robert Shin, a Korean man, doing this, exploiting black men. And then he's turning anyone that is concerned for them into racists when he's actually being the racist.
Count 6, negligence per se.
These people are terrified of Robert. There is something so sinister that happened in 2008 that people will not even talk about it. 3 separate people have described what happened in 2008 as though it was like a murder. Like, it was so dark.
Come on, Katie, you have to know saying something like this is completely wrong. Count 7, deceptive trade practices. As Katie likes to post, not only is Shekinah Church a cult, it's a cult that engages in egregious and despicable illegal behavior, y'all. Count 8, intentional interference with prospective advantage.
So the biggest way to impact it, the former member said, is you have to start looking at their income streams. And so when you are contacting sponsors.
Wait, Katie Joy, are you encouraging people to reach out to these sponsors that are collaborating with 7M? Did you just encourage your followers to contact these companies? Just asking.
Don't think that you're hurting the dancers. You're not hurting the dancers, in my opinion. They are being hurt by someone completely separate to any of this. They're not being hurt by me. They're not being hurt by you. They're in a alleged high controlled environment where they don't have freedom or free will.
The last count, which should be marked as count 9, injunctive relief. So 7M has asked the courts to basically make Katie Joy Paulson shut up, stop talking about them, stop posting about them, put a hold on it, and, eventually to have a permanent where she would have to delete everything, etc., etc. So let's see where this goes from here. That was the lawsuit. Just kind of wanted to break down why she was being sued. It is a very brief breakdown. This lawsuit clearly is way more detailed than just that, but those are the counts. And the clips that I included are nothing really particular to each count. And believe me, there are way, way, way more damaging statements that Katie Joy Paulson has made about 7M. But that is why Katie Joy Paulson is being sued, and so let's move on. So Katie Joy was served on April 5th of 2022, and she made a big stink about it on one of her lives, and you'll see a clip from that later. But as anybody would do, Katie Joy Paulson filed a motion to dismiss because, the
lawsuit is going to go nowhere. Anyone that claims it's a decent lawsuit knows nothing about the law.
And within this motion to dismiss, of course, Katie Joy makes it a clear point to state that she is a journalist focusing on celebrity news and entertainment stories. She claims that she reported firsthand accounts of the personal experiences of dancers and influencers who formerly worked for 7M based on information that she herself received directly through other media outlets, court records, etc. And more blah, 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 blah. I'm right, you're wrong, don't sue me, you need to dismiss this. Because, this is a baseless lawsuit. So the next thing we see after Katie Joy filed her motion to dismiss, which was filed on April 26th of 2022, is a notice for an upcoming motion hearing that will be held on May 27th of 2022. And prior to this hearing, there was a motion to oppose Katie's motion to dismiss, and there was a motion in support of Katie's motion to dismiss, and I'm sure you can guess which one belonged to which party. And it was not until July 13th until anything else was filed, and it was a scheduling order. There was not an order on Katie's motion to dismiss. Rather, there was a scheduling order, and it looked like this judge was ready to go. Let's get this shit done. Let's get this to trial. Because the judge listed pre-trial date, trial date, all the things that would lead up to those important dates for this case. But listen, y'all, we're not even going to waste our time on looking at this scheduling order because, well, it just didn't stick. A lot of things happened, and we are still waiting to see what is going to happen with this case 2 years later. But that judge did schedule a pre-trial hearing to happen on March 27th of 2023. But as you know, we're way past that date, and that never happened, and it was erased off the calendar. But here's where the real fun begins, y'all. Everything regarding discovery and the disputes that are pretty much still going on, maybe they were just resolved. It starts in August of 2022. Because the original scheduling order, discovery was due by August 5th of 2022. And so Katie Joy, of course, takes it to social media. And on August 18th of 2022, Katie Joy Paulson wants to let everybody know that Shin and 7M miss the discovery deadline. And of course, she boasts about how she's already won this case. However, in the background, 7M's attorney has been reaching out to the courts, letting them know they are fine providing discovery. However, they feel they need a protective order in this case before they continue. They reached out to Katie Joy Paulson's attorneys, stating the same. However, Katie Joy didn't care. She wanted to tell everybody that followed her she won this case because they failed to provide discovery. And then there's correspondence from Katie Joy's attorney to the courts stating they do not agree with an extension in any of the dates on scheduling order just because. But the judge said, put it in a motion. And if you're wondering, whatever happened with this motion to dismiss Katie Joy filed?
In regards to this lawsuit, it's literally bogus. I mean, my legal team looked over it and we know that there's nothing to this and we're not worried one bit. They just want to silence us and stop the reporting.
Well, on August 24th of 2022, I would beg to differ, Katie Joy Paulson, and I think the judge would as well, because your motion to dismiss was denied. So on goes this lawsuit, and on and on and on and on it goes. So while Katie Joy is licking her wounds, 7M is over there filing motions regarding Katie Joy Paulson and her shenanigans. One of the first that they filed was a motion for temporary injunctive relief, filed on August 25th, 2022, basically requesting from the courts that they make Katie Joy Paulson stop talking about them, possibly delete all old posts or private them, and just stop talking for the time being. If she does talk, they requested that she at least have to put a disclaimer on all of her posts that she is in a current litigation with 7M Films while she is bashing them yet again. The next motion filed by 7M was a motion for protective order for discovery. They are asking the courts that Katie Joy Paulson is not able to see any of the discovery provided by 7M that Katie Joy Paulson could potentially turn around and blast all over social media, or to provide a documentary that Katie Joy Paulson was said to be a part of regarding 7M Films and their dancers, along with Shekinah Church. Now, we'll talk about that documentary in another video, but they wanted to be protected from Katie Joy Paulson giving out such personal and sensitive information. They provided evidence to the courts showing that Katie Joy Paulson was very irresponsible with previous information from other litigations that she was not even involved in, that she put all over social media, and some of it was even under seal. So 7M is basically asking the courts to protect the discovery that 7M should provide, that Katie Joy Paulson doesn't get her little grubby hands on and spread all over the internet, including tax records, employee records, etc. And the third motion was a motion for amended scheduling order, which would provide new dates and deadlines in this case. About a month after those three motions were filed by 7M, 7M files a motion for default judgment on September 30th of 2022. Katie Joy had still not filed an answer in this case. 7M reminds the courts that Katie Joy Paulson, that had 21 days after she received service of the amended complaint, that she still had not filed her answer. And as a reminder, if needed, a motion for default judgment in the state of Minnesota could apply, in layman's terms, when a party that has been sued fails to plead or otherwise defend within the time allowed. That could allow the judge to make a judgment by default. And in this case, 7M makes her argument that if in fact the judge does make a judgment by default, that the damages caused by Katie Joy Paulson of Without a Crystal Ball to 7M Films, James Derrick, and Miranda Derrick would equal, for present losses and future losses, just under $40 million. As most judges do not like to grant default judgments, this one is not very hopeful, but it was worth a shot. Shortly after these motions were filed, there is a notice of a remote Zoom hearing to be held on November 21st, 2022. And just one day after the notice of hearing came out, Katie Joy Paulson, that fire must have been getting hot under her ass, because she filed, finally, her answer on October 5th of 2022. And in my opinion, it was a very lazy answer, but, And of course, Katie Joy, this is bogus. They're wrong. I'm right. I'm a journalist. I am a bona fide journalist. I do nothing wrong. Then, in addition to that, she, of course, filed a motion to compel, because remember, guys, she is entitled to everything that she requests of Robert Shin, including medical records, tax records, employment records, everything business related. She might have even asked for his blood type. I don't know. And of course, now that Katie Joy Paulson's motion to dismiss was denied and she's not getting her way in this and she sees that it's going to go forward, we start to see more filings now from Katie Joy's attorney, Jennifer Moore. Jennifer Moore is the third attorney in this firm that is representing Katie Joy Paulson on this case. I don't know if the first two opted out, but now it is Jennifer Moore. And filings are being made, of course, in opposition to the protective order, etc. She also provides her first set of interrogatories and production of documents, in addition to other filings that are needed in this case. However, behind the scenes, Katie Joy Paulson is making a huge stink regarding discovery, stating 7M has not provided discovery, they are not meeting deadlines, etc., etc. Oh, yeah, and she's going to win this case. And 7M has to keep reminding Katie Joy Paulson, listen, we filed a motion for protective order. We don't trust you. You are shady as shit. We want a protective order. We are not providing any discovery until then. 7M filed a response to Katie Joy's motion to compel, stating basically that they have attempted with their best efforts to communicate with Katie Joy and her attorneys regarding discovery, their concerns regarding discovery, and their request for a protective order. According to 7M, they feel Katie Joy is not cooperating in any sense of the term, and they feel like they are stuck at a standstill because they are unable to provide discovery without a protective order. So on November 21st of 2022, the motion hearing was held. And for anybody that's been following this case, they probably remember a little bit of controversy that was behind that Zoom hearing because, y'all, and I don't even know if I can say this without laughing, there were two lawyers on YouTube, two known YouTube lawyers, one being Uncivil Law, the other Nate the Lawyer. They paired up and they streamed the hearing. Should that have been done? No, we know this. But I was out in public, and so I had on my earbuds when I was listening to the two of them stream this hearing, and it was laughable. It was funny. It was I when they kept pointing out what Katie Joy's attorney was saying regarding her as a bona fide journalist and her importance of reporting, etc., yada, yada. I don't think they couldn't keep a straight face. And I believe 7M's attorney the whole time is sitting there going, listen, I filed motions. We just need to know, can we get this protective order so we can move on with discovery? And of course, the only motion that Katie Joy had filed was a motion to compel discovery, saying, well, they haven't they're not following the rules. They haven't stuck by the deadlines. I want this discovery. I deserve it. I need all the details, and I need it now. While Katie Joy's attorney is saying, oh, she's such a good, bona fide, wonderful journalist. Apparently, it was a total shit show. Needless to say, the judge was very upset that the hearing was being streamed. And, of course, Katie Joy had to take to her social media to let everybody know about the attorneys that were doing this. The hearing eventually ended. Part of it was held privately as they shut down the Zoom, and then it was under advisement by the judge. Little did we know we would be waiting as long as we would, but in the meantime, at the beginning of December, the dispute regarding discovery becomes so contentious between the two parties that 7M requests a phone conference regarding the scheduling order. Basically, 7M is stating we cannot abide by the scheduling order regarding discovery deadline because we don't know if we're going to be granted a protective order or not. To which Katie Joy's attorney responds and says, no, we don't need a phone conference. She has it all wrong. We were actually discussing about mediation, not discovery, and they already have a motion for a scheduling order in the courts. So no, she has this all wrong. To which the judge says, yes, we need a phone conference, and it is scheduled for December 15th, 2022. Now, we are not privy as to what happened during that phone conference, but around that time, from there on, we are all just waiting patiently to see when we would hear back regarding these motions. And finally, the beginning of February 2023, there was an order, y'all. The judge ruled on all 5 motions. And here's what she had to say. Plaintiff's motion for default judgment denied. So this case is carrying on. Plaintiff's motion for temporary injunction denied. Plaintiff's motion for amended scheduling order is granted. And the parties shall abide by the following modified deadlines. Now, again, y'all, we're not even going to look at these deadlines. We're not going to pay too much attention to them because apparently within this court, you don't have to follow deadlines. Deadlines mean nothing. Then Katie's motion to compel discovery denied as premature. and 7M's motion for a protective order is granted in part. So to summarize very briefly, the protective order that was granted in part, there was a separate order. And within that order, it states that the parties should agree, and I don't know why she felt these parties could agree, would agree on what discovery would be considered highly confidential and attorney's eyes only. It was stated that when this discovery was presented to the other party, and it goes both ways for both parties in this order, that they would meet at one of the attorney's locations, no cameras, no phones, no Katie Joy, and that highly confidential information provided as discovery would be seen by the other party at that time. Now, as you can guess, this did not go as easy as probably the judge had planned, because I believe everything that 7M was trying to deem as highly confidential, Katie Joy scoffed at and disagreed. But we can get into that as we carry on, because the issue with discovery is a huge problem between the two parties. And from the date that this order was filed, it carries on with issues for well over another year. Now, back to the order that the judge denied the motion for injunctive relief. Well, Katie Joy Paulson, in my opinion, greatly misunderstood what was being said by the judge in that order. So you can watch the video, Misinterpret Much, Katie Joy, that was uploaded just before this one, for a better breakdown of those motions and the only explanation I could think of as to why Katie Joy Paulson feels she was deemed a journalist by the court. So back to February of 2023, Katie Joy now begins a new narrative that she was granted immunity by the courts, that she was deemed a journalist, and therefore she does not have to provide any of her sources in discovery. This becomes an even more contentious situation with discovery regarding 7M, but not long after that order was filed, there was notice of judicial reassignment on February 24th, 2023. There is a new judge on the case, y'all. So as a new judge takes over and is probably looking over everything regarding this case and sitting there like, what? Katie Joy Paulson still over there talking about 7M on her social media. Now, granted, the motion for injunctive relief was denied, so she is allowed to speak on 7M. Does it look good? I would say not, especially when she's making posts like these. Breaking news, y'all. She is seeking sanctions for attorney's fees because Robert Shin is involved in another lawsuit in LA. She is thinking, well, I win. So basically, she's ending this lawsuit on her own accord. And it's over, y'all. That's what her breaking news is. But let me just tell you, this did not go through. This went nowhere. And her attorney fees were not paid. So shortly after this, there is a notice by the courts for a Zoom hearing, May 18th, 2023. 7M's attorney says, I'm in receipt. I'll see you there. Katie Joy's attorney questions the judge and says, to my knowledge, neither party requested such a conference. That said, I was about to contact the court to request a date for a motion to compel discovery. May we use the May 18th date for that purpose? And this is when I can see the judge going, what? So the judge states, well, this hearing was set on court's initiative after the matter was reassigned, new judge. So please use alternative dates after the hearing to schedule a motion hearing. Let's touch base first. Let's get on the same page here. I don't know. On May 18th of 2023, the hearing was held via Zoom. I actually listened in on that. And the judge just wanted to see where everybody was, same page. No, clearly there's issues regarding discovery. Katie Joy's attorney says, we're going to file a motion to compel. And 7M says, so are we. So the judge says, well, should we get it on the books? Said yes. They agreed. August 1st, motion to compel hearing. Great. 7M says, we're also going to file a motion for summary judgment. Judge says, so we put it on the books. 7M says, no, let's wait till after this hearing. Okay, great. Any other issues? 7M says, yes, back in November when that hearing was being held via Zoom, it was streamed, it was a mess. We request that all future hearings are held in person, not via Zoom. Judge said, okay. Anything else? Nope. All right. Motion to compel hearing August 1st, and it will be in person because there are no more Zoom hearings here on out. That was pretty much it. But the next day on Katie Joy's social media, according to her, she won, y'all. I mean, you can't make this shit up. So Katie Joy is saying that she won because, I don't know, whatever. We have a motion to compel hearing in August. We got what we wanted. Just so you know, just because there's a motion to compel hearing does not mean that you're going to get all of Robert Shin's information and that you win and everything, that you're wanting in discovery is boom, yours. You're just having a hearing. Oh, and 7M has a motion to compel as well. She also said, another huge win because the judge said, yeah, we're going to have all of our hearings in person from here on out. 7M asked for that. But anyways, a few days following that hearing on May 23rd of 2023, the notice of the August 1st motion hearing was put out. So we should see these motions to compel from both parties. And on July 11th, we see 7M filing motions, a few motions. And, we don't see one from Katie Joy. And Katie Joy made a big deal, right, about this motion to compel. She got her way. She won, y'all. It was a win. And they weren't showing. But turns out that Katie Joy did file a motion to compel in time. And that it wasn't showing because, highly confidential, whatever. But in this video that I did back on July 20th, 2023, it is not on the channel right now, but I will upload it shortly after this video is uploaded. Take a look at that video. It breaks down the, not the motions because only 7M filed, but why I couldn't see Katie Joy's motion, etc., and what happened from there. The funny thing is, as always, when Katie Joy Paulson isn't getting her way and might be a little drunk on a Saturday night, she decided to take to Instagram and talk smack on 7M. And then, of course, right after the hearing, those drunken posts were deleted. You can check out those two videos as well, dated July 31st and August 2nd of 2023. They are available to view if you haven't already. And following that August 1st hearing, which was not very productive, clearly the motions to compel were not ruled upon. They were, but the order that came out was not regarding the motions to compel. It was to state that the deadline is extended by an additional 60 days. So the judge is basically saying, get your shit together. And on October 3rd of 2023, we will have a phone conference to determine the status of discovery and the rescheduling of deadlines in the scheduling order. Following the phone conference on October 3rd, there was an order filed, and this order states that the matter is scheduled for a live hearing on November 15th of 2023 to address any outstanding discovery disputes between the parties and the rescheduling of dates in the scheduling order. And for now, all the dates that were provided in the scheduling order on July 13th of 2022 continue to be suspended. And prior to the hearing scheduled on November 15th of 2023, 7M submits their outstanding interrogatories on October 30th of 2023, which was the deadline. I did not see that Katie Joy Paulson had filed anything as well, but as you look, you can see here, the bottom one is the one we were able to view, which was 7M. The others are unable to be viewed, which obviously are Katie Joy's filings, and she doesn't want them to be seen, y'all. For more on that filing and the breakdown of all the interrogatories that 7M says Katie Joy still needed to answer, That is all included in this video, dated October 31st of 2023. So the motions to compel hearing finally happened on November 15th of 2023, and as we wait and wait, finally, January 29th, 2024, order on motions to compel. And y'all, this is the best part yet. Seven M's motion to compel is granted with respect to all disputed interrogatories and requests for production. Katie Joy, you have to produce everything that they asked for. Katie Joy's motion to compel was granted in part. It was mostly denied. I guess the court didn't feel it was important for you to actually know Robert Shin's blood type. But it also states that all parties shall continue to abide by the terms of the protective order entered on February 7th, 2023. Somebody must not have been wanting to abide by that. Which party do you think it is? But here's the best part, y'all. Because I'm sure you remember when Katie Joy was gloating that a judge ruled in her recent lawsuit that she was a journalist and entitled to journalist qualified privilege.
And that I have journalistic privilege, which means that Robert can't use a lawsuit to try to glean my sources from, and I don't have to give up my sources in discovery because I'm a journalist and he can't sue me for that.
Well, once again, I have to disagree with you there, Katie Joy, because within this order, the judge states the issue of whether or not Ms. Paulson is a journalist has not yet been presented to or decided by this court. And as a side note, throughout this lawsuit, as Katie Joy was denying discovery because she was a journalist, journalistic privilege, etc., 7M kept stating, show evidence, prove you're a journalist, show all your documentation, etc. So clearly, there is none. Just saying. And if it were me, I'd be extremely humiliated by this. But, Katie Joy Paulson, no, she just deflects and gaslights and does everything she can to convince her followers that this lawsuit is petty and she is winning and she has won. So after that big ego blow, there was a scheduling conference that was held on April 11th, 2024. And at the conclusion of that scheduling conference was a new order with new dates. So where we stand as of right now, the last thing that's been filed is this scheduling order. The deadline for discovery was April 19th of 2024, so that has passed. I'm assuming Katie Joy finally complied. I don't know. We haven't seen anything to state otherwise. All depositions are to be conducted by July 26, 2024. The deadline for mediation in this case is December 31st, 2024. As a reminder, in the state of Minnesota, it is required that both parties complete mediation prior to a trial. And as a reminder, 7M has requested a jury trial in this case. And finally, all non-dispositive motions shall be served and filed no later than August 23rd, 2024. And all dispositive motions shall be served and filed no later than September 23rd, 2024. And I do suspect, and this is just my opinion, that we will see a motion for summary judgment in this case. So there we have it, y'all. A very brief, even though it was 40 minutes, breakdown from April 5th of 2022 to May 5th of 2024 of the 7M films, Robert Shin, Miranda Derrick, and James Derrick versus Catherine Mansky Paulson of Without a Crystal Ball. Again, this is a defamation lawsuit, and we're waiting to see what happens. If this does go to trial, please don't expect it to happen anytime in 2024. It'll be at least another year, y'all. In the meantime, I will do my best to keep you updated with all the filings and happenings in this case. Until then, you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you on the next one.